Hi, I'm Susie Potter,
And I'm Ruby Claire,
and this is
the Love Allegiance.
Welcome to our Halloween special video.
Yeah. So Susie's gonna showcase one of your divination skills of tarot reading, and she's gonna be using the Wild Unknown tarot deck in case you like it and want to buy it. I think there's the wildunknown.com, so you could always go there. But before you begin, I'm going to just go over astrologically what's going on now. We have the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury all in the sign of Scorpio. So Scorpio represents a lot of what we've already talked about. It represents deep diving into the unseen realms. It represents the psyche, intimacy, sexuality, money, power.
Well, that scorpionic energy, since it is so connected to the shadow and the depths, tends to have the ability to really bring out those truths and kind of unapologetically speak them.
Yeah. So to have the Sun there, the Sun is all about life force, it's about vitality, it's about soul, the closest thing to your truth radiating out. So you have the Sun there, and then the Moon is kind of like your emotions, your inner child, your intuitive awareness. And Mercury is the way you think and communicate. So to have all of that going on in the sign of Scorpio just contributes more to this deep diving shadow work, veils between the seen and unseen kind of dynamic we have going on here.
On Halloween, right? Okay, so let's dive right in to the depths, right? Okay, let's see what we got. I'm going to pull a card for the Sun, which represents essence, and I'm going to pull, okay, here's some, and I'm going to pull a card for the Moon, and then I'll do one final, just overall general card. Okay, so, and this is a deck that I'm not familiar with. Decided to go for something new. Let's see what we got. Okay. So this is a very, very representative of the shadow. I'm seeing kind of like a yin-yang where you have the light aspect with the little drip of darkness, and then you have the dark aspect, the little drip of light. So that would represent balance. But then you also have many would seem to be like wands or branches kind of bundled together, creating like a barrier.
I see a lot of illusion in that card. The illusion of separation. And a lot of like something in the way of maybe blocking the truth.
Yeah.
Deception.
Yeah. So there's that barricade type of feel to that card, but it can also be a filter. So it can also be filtering out that which we don't need, or kind of moving the process of moving that shadow energy from below out to the surface in a more filtered type of way as well.
And I'm getting something else. since the sun is, you're pulling that for the sun, and the sun represents shining a light on something. So this card could also represent that we're having to shine the light and face where there's illusion right now, where there's illusion of separation, where there's deception, and shining a light on it collectively, publicly, and being like, look at that. We haven't been paying attention to that. And bringing it up into the light because it's been hidden in the shadows.
Yeah. So particularly on this day, on Halloween, you may see that manifested in certain choices of costume that people choose, or just, on a collective, going with the theme of Halloween, or just in your personal life, look out for those issues that are popping up and really being emphasized, and don't brush it away, just give it that attention and that time. Now for the moon. Okay. So we have an Ace of Cups, and it actually is reversed. Yeah. So the cups represent emotion. And so, the phrase, cup runneth over, or tipping point, or just spilling out those guts, right? Might be what this card is representing, especially in relation to the moon, which, as Ruby had mentioned, is about that inner, those inner workings, like the emotions and the psyche.
And the inner child.
Yeah, so it might mean that you might have an overflow of emotion, or might throw a tantrum of some kind, right? Maybe also just blurting out something that you've been maybe holding on to. So, yeah, watch out for that. And specifically, since it is in Scorpio, it is on Halloween, all those things that might have been hidden from your awareness. Anything you want to add?
I'm seeing grief. So there's the emotions that radiate upward, and then I'm thinking of the emotions that they come out and they come up, but then they kind of pour down. And it's very much like a grieving what's been lost, grieving maybe ancestors you've lost, someone who's died, maybe even grieving, seeing an illusion you've had and facing it, and grieving and crying the fact that you had it. But just this, I just keep getting a quality of grieving something when I see that.
Yeah.
And it being very purifying, like it being a good thing, like the cleanse, very purifying.
Yeah, throw out that stale water that's been sitting there for too long. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything to sum it up?
I wanted to pull just one more card,
Okay.
just for overall general message for the coming days. Okay, so this card really represents the creepiness that we often associate with Halloween. So you can see there the Hanged Man. Now the Hanged Man, and it's reversed, oftentimes can seem like bad luck or misfortune. Also just, again, kind of like a sense of coming to justice. So any issues that have been kind of locked away or hidden from awareness, like we've been saying, in the shadow, kind of coming up, but not only coming up, but also coming to justice. So kind of maybe finalizing any relationships or partnerships, or maybe even finalizing a project. But the interesting thing is that it's upside down. So since it is reversed, we kind of reverse that meaning and realize that we could be when we're diving deep, right? If we're diving deep into the unconscious, we're also we're still aiming towards a higher sense of ourselves. We are still expanding our consciousness. So it's, we want to steer away from thinking that the shadow is bad, right, or negative in some way, or hindering of our process. In fact, it's quite the opposite. There's really a sense of enlightenment that can come from, or actualization that can come from being reversed and seeing things from a different perspective. Yeah, anything else?
I don't know, I'm having trouble with this one because I usually associate the hangman when it's not reversed with like surrender, when you're on your last leg of something or something's just not working. You're like, I give up.
Yeah.
And so if it's reversed, does that mean not giving up? What does that mean?
Well, coming from that perspective, it could mean that's a good question.
Pushing through, maybe.
Pushing through, yeah. Or getting that shift in perspective to keep you going, maybe.
Yeah.
That boost that you need.
Yeah, potentially pushing through and fighting for something important for you, and not giving up.
Yeah, and that's what could come from allowing all those things to emerge from the shadow and working through it, allowing something new to emerge.
So thanks for tuning in with us this Halloween night.
Yeah.
We hope you have a fun weekend. Please be safe. And
Subscribe, follow us on Facebook, drop comments, leave some pictures of your awesome costumes, and see you next time.